Let's see.
Are the mics on?
Yeah, there.
Oh, fuck.
Welcome. This is Born Influence. We got Matt Keys on board. Here with Brenda, Martin, and Daniel.
What up?
Myself.
Yo.
So today we're discussing the topic of war. Why does humanity seek war? To understand this, we're going to start with genetics.
Yep. Yeah.
You think so?
Yep.
I mean, that's a broad topic, but definitely I think war is biologically embedded into humans. And more specifically into the demographic of men, but of course,
We have a biological function, I believe.
yeah, I mean, testosterone.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Brenda here mentioned the MAOA gene,
Which is what? The warrior gene.
the warrior gene. I don't know.
Yeah,
Well,
so there's a
think-
study, I guess, that suggests that there is a genetic component that attributes to more aggressive behavior in certain people. They call it the warrior gene, MAOA. Yeah, I think that's interesting that there could be a gene that perhaps makes certain individuals more aggressive than others. I mean, I think we all experience aggression. I mean, it's a natural state, right? It's like a spectrum of emotions that we have, and aggression is one of them. And I think that, I think war was a feature born from these feelings, like I think war is kind of embedded into us because it all began with how humans, secured their food, shelter, their tribes. I mean, we can get into so many of the factors that contribute to that, but yeah, there's just so many layers to it. I don't even know where to start.
Well, biology, and I think also the bearing of existence is a biological strive. It's like taking a first step from sea creatures to arthropods.
We'll provide more insight on that.
It's like Darwinism.
Hmm.
We waged war with gravity. We're like, what? We went to another dimension from when we were sea creatures. And we took our footsteps on the shore.
Okay.
That's kind of paints a picture of how we wage war against existence in our own evolutions, right? And it's just a daily, constant condition of existing.
That was poetic. I don't know what to make out of that.
That's
Honestly, I think that's too
Well, Darwinism.
out of my scope of
it's,
understanding here.
It's just basic strive.
But I think he's saying that
For
we started
existence.
just fighting from the beginning.
It's
Yeah.
It's a basic.
Yeah.
It's inherent in our biology, of course.
Okay.
It's a
right.
basic strive for existence
Yeah.
and evolution. And sometimes, let's say it's winter, and the village is dying of hunger, but the next village's got a surplus that they don't want to share.
Right.
It's a survival.
So it's kind of it's even how we build our community, we build our tribe, you know, because it originated from us just being tribal and kind of being doubtful of the out of group. It's like the in group and out of group concept, you know, like you don't want anything outside of your group to threaten your group. And so you don't have a sense of trust. I don't know.
But
I'm just talking. I mean,
But-
you
but how
guys
did-
have to talk.
no, but how did the whole tribalism came about if it said that we all came from the same group of people?
Yeah, that's a good one to tackle.
Because if it's claimed that we all came from this one section of the world, which is what is now classified as Africa, and we all kind of expanded.
Well,
I mean, I
yeah.
guess, I mean,
But I mean, we're just talking about war.
yeah, I know, but what I'm
and
saying is
humans, not the origin of humans, right?
Yeah,
no, but
we're-
what I'm trying to get at is like that's kind of
I feel my question is more of a philosophical one. Well, why do we seek war?
I guess. I don't know. What's your take on that?
That's one dimension of it, the biological one.
Yeah.
I mean, of course,
I think it's just to as a man, I think just to acquire power. I mean, look at past leaders and past conquerors, like from Genghis Khan to Alexander the Great. Like they just wanted to rule. To Napoleon, to I mean,
that's where time ties in. Sometimes it's like I said, resources as well.
yeah, it's but I'll start. I think it's just the takeover of land, of wanting to feel superior, of wanting to govern and take over the world. That's what I feel part of it, but
Yeah, I mean, I feel like why we seek war. I mean, my take on it, I guess it's. I think it began, like what I was trying to articulate is it began over conflict of resources, territory, and mates. Right, to protect that.
What do you mean?
Like, well, we don't, I mean, I guess it's just a protective mechanism. It's not that you're seeking war, but war happens as a result of you protecting, you know, your territory, your mates.
Yeah.
All of that.
Sometimes there's also strife, though. There's strive, and then there's strife. In strife, it's coercion, extortion, and exploitation. And it's a resource issue. And there is also ambition and strive that ties in. And it's also just elevating your own life. And, you know, we're domineering species, even to each other.
Mm-hmm. All right. I don't know. I don't have like a philosophical. I guess I'm just.
We could talk about the metaphysical will.
Well, I mean, you wrote that down, so give your bit. I think you should, since you wrote that down, like, give your take on it, and then I guess
What
we
channel?
will chime in.
So the metaphysical will, I believe
You
it's.
gotta get close to the mic, dude.
I believe it's something that is outside of our dimension, of course. It's metaphysical. It's got to do with the very beginning of our own existence.
Mm-hmm.
It's past our biology. I mean, I don't know if you believe in the paranormal spirits and such. That's will. There's also just quantumly, it's known to be from another dimension.
War?
Will.
Okay, but how does that tie to the theme of war? That's where I'm losing you.
Well, seeking.
Seeking war?
Yeah, seeking. It ties into seeking, and it ties into ourselves.
I thought this podcast was about war, not the philosophy.
Well, it's a question. Why does humanity seek war? Seek war.
So how does the metaphysical tie into seeking war?
It ties into strive. And that's what I believe. I believe it strives.
Okay, how?
Will strives.
Okay. I don't know. It's because I feel like you're breaking down each thing, and I'm like losing.
Well, yeah,
you.
so the topics I wanted to go through is will, biology, strive, strife, dimensions of aggression, which we tied in with genetics as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then identity, that ties into patriotism, ethics and morality. It ties into everything. Philosophy and religion, there's religious wars. Pride, there's interpersonal wars, and sometimes people just can't accept defeat. And there's time, like a change of condition, it's entropy. And then exploitation, which ties into strife and extortion, and it's really just a battle of attrition for resource.
Okay.
And then there's resolve as well. So, like you tied in from the beginning yourself. If, let's say, you're being attacked and you need to defend, there's resolve.
Okay.
I got this topic off of Instagram, but these are all my ideas.
Mm-hmm.
My ideas of why does humanity seek war. It's just literally like my ideas.
Okay. Why does humanity seek war? Will, biology, but of hunger for power, for meaning, for control. Peace is fragile, fleeting. It demands restraint, humility. But war promises glory, purpose, and the illusion of permanence.
I don't know. I think that last bit is not true. The illusion of permanence is irrelevant. I think it's resolve. The illusion of resolve. Well, not even the illusion of resolve, just resolve.
What's permanence?
Permanence. So, let's say if it's a war of pride.
Mm-hmm. Permanence is being of. Is it related to the Spanish word?
So let's say you're being attacked and your pride is being attacked.
Mm-hmm.
The illusion of permanence is the illusion of staying the same, right? But there's no such thing of that, so it's irrelevant. And I'm just commenting that the illusion of permanence is irrelevant here. It's just a demon speaking. Actually, I even commented on it. It's coercion is not war, but exploitation. War creates resolve, not the illusion of permanence. Permanence is relevant.
I still don't know what permanence
This is how I got the topic. It says here, yet it brings ruin, suffering, and endless grief. Can humanity not evolve beyond such destruction? Then the demon says, destruction is in your blood. To tear down is to create anew. You seek peace, but what you crave is conquest of your fears, your doubts, your mortality. War is not always fought with swords. Sometimes it is waged in the mind. The question is whether war is necessary, or whether you can bear to face the battles within yourself. So we are destined to war within and without, says the monk. The demon replies, war is the shadow of humanity's search for meaning. Now that's an interesting bit for me. If you wish for peace, first ask yourself, can you stand to live without purpose, without a fight to justify your existence? For some, peace is the greatest war of all. So now, the shadow of humanity's existence is search for meaning in existence is something interesting to me, and that's why I wrote this in the next bit. It's kind of it'll be something I'll record and edit in right after this, I guess. But it's I just read the first paragraph because I'll tie it in. The observation of belief permeates our doubt as a prism of light cascading shadows of self. This is the search for meaning. This is our search for knowledge and self-realization. This contention with the self and our place of existence is, in my opinion, a necessary war. So that's the war with ourselves that we create to search for meaning. It's a belief that permeates our doubt as a prism of light cascading shadows of self.
Do you think, Danny, do you think there will ever be peace?
As long as there's existence, no.
Peace collectively or peace individually?
Well, we get into like Taoism, where it's duality, polarity, and the whole. You can't have one thing without the other. So I don't think there would ever be peace because we still need to eat.
Yeah.
Well, that's all, yeah.
Well said.
I think that the whole concept of war, it's always gonna be there for us. It's not gonna stop. And I think it's like in that gene. I think it's just within us to want to.
It's a part of our existence, but I think it permeates more than just war. It might just be hunting as well.
Well, yeah. It's just to showcase who's I guess in a sense who's the bigger man.
Dominion.
Dominant hierarchies.
Yeah, like that's why countries are always fighting for superiority. It's like who's the top, who's the best, and it's always gonna be like, and it's always been like that. It doesn't stop, and that's because
societies as well.
like that's why they said men have to lead, and men do lead, and because they have a towards mentality.
The patriarchy is,
Yeah.
It was a necessary one, I think. Yeah, it was a necessary one. Because, technology kind of made things easier.
Yeah. And it was, and forever, it's men that's always gone to war. They've always died for either to take over land or even defending their own land.
Yeah, those Icelandic motherfuckers are crazy. The Vikings are like, alright,
dude.
we'll be back in 2 months.
They were gone forever.
They wouldn't really like bring back treasure. They'll bring back like bread, and stuff like that, like rum and beer.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them were crazy rapists. So
I
they'll
think
bring back wives and shit and slaves. They'll sell slaves. And stuff.
well, that's always been a thing. I think, right?
What?
Like at any war, when you took over, the men immediately took charge and would rape the women or just take over. We just listened to a podcast of that guy. What was his name?
You mean like Darwinism or like within
one?
modern society?
Just within modern society. Like throughout all wars, like slavery and raping women. It's like it's always existed.
Yeah, and I think it has to do with the patriarchy, and Darwinism ties in, but it's just the conditions.
Yeah. The what's his name? Gong.
You mean Genghis Khan?
Genghis Khan, okay. That guy, I didn't know his name. But his story begins with like his parents before he's even born. The whole conflict is that his mom is basically kidnapped by another tribe. So like there's this guy that basically wanted to make her his wife. They fell in love, whatever. He was going to bring her to his land, and as they were on their way, another tribe came in, and one of the main guys was like, "Oh, that woman is pretty. I'm gonna, she's gonna be one of my wives." And so they killed that guy, and she had to go with him, and then that's how
he was born.
he was born. Yeah.
Well, that wasn't his actual name. That was.
Yeah, that was like the name that was given to him by the people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an impressive story, actually.
Yeah, but his reign, like he expanded when he started even a little bit after, like he made a major impact. Like he made a major impact. Like he killed a huge population. He conquered and that was just their tribe mentality. It's just to take, to expand as big as they can. And and from what I heard and read is that he impregnated a shit ton of women.
Yeah. So they were known to have like multiple wives.
There wasn't even wives. It was just.
There, I guess.
It was just going around and.
They just wanted to breed.
Yeah. Like he killed, I think, I don't know, like 13 or 15% of the world's population at the time.
There was polyamorous, and there was like just widely spread throughout their culture.
Well, yeah. Well, it was men that would just have a lot of women.
They say that Genghis Khan was a weirdo like that. Like, I think it was just their culture as well. Mm-hmm. They're kind of like every conquering culture, really.
Yeah. Well, the women depended on the men to take care of them.
Yeah, but they also left for war, so it's not true.
Oh. That's true. I mean, not to say that they didn't like do anything, but they depended on the men, right? Like the whole community did.
Who did?
The whole tribe.
Who did?
Like the women, like.
Oh, just in like that, yeah. Yeah, but dude, that was one of the big,
They say that Genghis Khan did actually like allow any religion because he didn't give a shit.
He didn't care about it.
Yeah.
Well, his story is just fascinating to me because I guess he, in his culture, if they really cared about a person, like if like he had essentially what we would consider now like a best friend, but he felt like a spiritual connection to this guy, and they drank each other's blood to kind of make a pact that they were brothers.
Who and who?
What's his name? Sorry.
Genghis Khan.
Genghis Khan.
Oh, was it Sabutai?
Is that what it's called?
Sabutai was a general for Genghis Khan.
Oh, okay.
He's actually more badass than Genghis Khan himself.
But didn't he die?
Well, no. Genghis Khan was really just like an emperor, and Sabutai was a general that like did all the shit for him, and he conquered like all of Asia and then half of Europe.
Who did?
Sabutai.
I think it might be another guy then.
I studied generals and stuff because I guess I like it. I like the war stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. What I found interesting more than anything was like his strategies of war. How he like would plan his attacks. Because I guess when he was young, they would go hunting, and they would kind of circle in all the animals. They would all expand through the woods, but then they would like slowly bring all the animals into a circle and make the circle smaller.
You mean
and
herding, shepherding?
and then they would attack, and like that's how they would.
Oh, you mean like hunting tactics?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he used those for war. He would circle,
No.
and that's how they would attack. Close in on them.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what they kind of remind me, and I think I told you of.
Actually, I know that they did like ninja tactics where they'd walk through like slaves. They'd walk through like people. They'll send the neighboring villages, and they'll send all the people like just walk across and like accurate. They'll hide among refugees.
Oh, okay.
They'll hide among refugees.
But then those people would get killed, or what?
Yeah, they wouldn't use them as fodder. Well, I think they did probably.
Yeah.
That's not what they stated like in the stories.
Okay.
But they'd hide among refugees, and they'd go to the neighboring city that they're about to attack, and then they'll be there like for like a day, and then they'll learn everything as refugees.
Just observing, yeah.
And then they'll attack, and they already invaded, you know, like.
Yeah, they're already. It's too late for the other guys. Yeah.
You know what they remind me of?
Hey, but they still conquered half of Europe.
Who did?
The Khans, Genghis Khan.
The Mongols and the Khan.
Yeah, Mongols.
Well, that's they kind of remind me of like the Dothraki
Oh, from Game of Thrones.
from Game of Thrones
Yeah, that's the inspiration.
because that's how they
They were
like that they were on horseback
Yeah.
and there was like that but even the name like Khan
Yeah, they probably got inspired from.
yeah
it.
like how he's saying that's why when I heard I was like oh shit
That's interesting.
That's how they call it the Horde.
yeah
Yeah.
Because they'll hide among refugees, and they look like, you know, just survivors and shit. You know?
Yeah, but see, I don't know. And like, it's crazy because, yeah, I find that fascinating. Just like the strategies of war too. Like, it's impressive.
but that's why I mean Napoleon was so good in battlefield. I said just towards the end he got a little lazy or
Yeah.
I don't know.
like he got too I think he got too overly ambitious. That's why that's why they finally defeated him in battle.
Wasn't he very short though? That
That's what
doesn't
they
matter.
say. I don't know how short he was. I'm guessing he was probably like 5'2" maybe.
Like my height.
Yeah. I think
No, he was more like 9 feet.
no.
He was always on a horse.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
horse,
but he
yeah,
wasn't as
maybe.
short as like the cartoons made it out to be like that he was like 4 feet or something. I don't think he was that short.
Yeah. He would have died in battle.
Yeah. But yeah, I like his Napoleon strategy too.
What was his strategy?
Well, it's like that. He drew inspiration from that Sabutai. The one you're talking about, man, I totally
Who
forgot.
drew
Napoleon?
He did?
Yeah.
From Genghis Khan and stuff?
Yeah,
And the war tactics?
Yeah.
Sabotage? You know, there's The Art of War by Sun Tzu, and he's also, I guess, a general in ancient times, but I don't know his story well. But that book is studied today by generals everywhere. It's part of like military academia.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen that.
The
book.
Art of War.
Damn.
Now there's no art. Now it's just drones.
I think it's art.
Nah,
It's
I know.
just different, different branch of art.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I wonder how the next war would look like.
The whole industry was changed. The whole military industry was changed. Because now, like, they could invest millions of dollars, but like a $200 drone could just drop a grenade, you know.
Drop freaking
But it's
missile.
also due to incompetence, you know, and having, I guess, old technology without sensors and drone units. Now they have freaking drone patrols. not drone patrols, but every unit has like a drone, not operator, but someone who
Like a scout?
a scout who scouts for drones, and he's in charge of taking out drones.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Well, because that's the
He
thing.
uses shotgun shells and
Which-
shit.
Yeah.
That's it. But I think if war would look like what's going on with Ukraine and Russia, I think it'd still look like that.
Really?
They don't. Yeah, I think so. I mean, because the only other way is what, you go to nuclear war.
Well,
That's-
that'll be
that-
quick.
That would be the only other answer. Because
Talking about war, I don't know. This is kind of like not really well known, but it's like something that like all military people like view. But the Cold War never ended. The Soviet Union just kind of stopped, and then I don't know how it stopped. They say it was bankruptcy or something, right?
wait, the what?
The Cold War with Russia.
It never stopped.
But if you look at the Middle
Well, it never
East,
stopped.
I don't know. The Middle East, they're Easterners, right? So they look kind of Russian,
Yeah.
but they were also supplied by Russians. You know, like, all the weapons were supplied by Russians, like the Taliban and stuff.
Yeah.
Iran. So it's the same thing. It's like now we're bringing the proxy war to them in Ukraine, I guess. And before, like you think about it, like we ended the war in Afghanistan and Iraq, and it was all supplied by Russia and Iran was supplied by Russia, and then they even had motherfuckers out there like dying. They'll be screaming, "Bliat, bliat, bliat!" That's fucking Russian, like you know.
So then it basically what you're
They
saying.
got Middle Easterners looking white as hell, speaking Russian
Yeah.
in the middle of an Arabic country, and it's the Taliban, you know, and it's like they're fighting each other in the Cold War like that. And
So
then
it's almost like a passive war of some sorts, but they're
it's Cold War, but it's an
Right.
active war.
Right. But okay. No, yeah.
And now it's in Ukraine because we ended the war in Afghanistan. We beat that war, I guess. It's a war on terror.
Oh well, yeah, that makes sense. That's why the U.S. funds Ukraine.
Yeah. Literally all their military might is out of us.
Yeah, that's crazy. I never thought about that.
What?
That's true.
What?
What he said, that the Cold War is still going on, was yeah.
Yesterday in Chernobyl, they have a nuclear power plant, and they have like not power. I don't know what it is, but it's a nuclear facility, and they have a sarcophagus that like seals it, right? And Russia sent a drone to explode the sarcophagus, kind of like a warning of like nuclear warning.
To
Ukraine and the entire West.
wow. Chernobyl is like
Isn't
so.
it
Is
the-
it forever not?
It's a nuclear where they had the nuclear accident. And,
Yeah.
Yeah. and they have a sarcophagus.
But
like,
it's not
covering it.
habitable, right? Like no one's.
No.
Yeah.
But I guess they exploded the sarcophagus, so the sarcophagus has like a huge hole in it now.
Oh shit! And what's the
I don't know.
effects of that?
They're waging war. I guess
It's kind of just like a message.
it's a message of nuclear war and stuff.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, did you know, and this is what I was reading earlier, did you know that the U.S. had interfered with the Russian Civil War? And that's what foreshadowed the Cold War.
Well, how did they interfere?
Because,
communist parties
yeah.
gaining power in different countries through influence. Kind of like the United States does
Yeah.
the same thing though with democracy, and they puppet like a lot of countries, like Project Condor in South America. But it's more
Yeah.
like we just established business and government for them.
Well, they supported one side. They
Yeah.
supported, because I had kind of briefly, but they said they had supported the White Army, which was the U.S. supported Bolshevik forces, which was the whites, to try and restore a non-communist Russia. And so they sent troops, 7,000,
That's identity,
8,000.
nationalistic identity, ethics and morals.
Yeah. It was Siberian intervention and then the North Russian intervention.
It's a economical one though.
Yeah. And then it's to limit fighting. U.S. troops mostly engage in skirmishes and defensive actions rather than full-on battle. And then they just withdrew after World War One. And then they withdrew the troops. And then that's when tensions grew with the U.S. and then USSR. Foreshadowing tensions that would later define the Cold War.
So the United States didn't want communism to spread out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they were doing that like all over the world themselves because the same thing. Because communism is, I guess, a direct challenge to our capitalistic republic democracy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think I need to dive into political theory because I've been briefly reading.
I think it's more about economics and then the politics.
It is
it's
more
like
economics.
Your ideas.
It's fully economics because I actually had no idea that liberalism and leftists are separate, are different. They're not alike.
Yeah.
Because
left and
leftists
right.
are anti-capitalism and
yeah,
leftists are for
Capitalism,
capitalism. And I was like, well,
it's not true actually. They're both split, but I know the left has more socialistic ideas.
right.
But that's why we're a republic democracy, and there's some socialism in there, like healthcare. You know, we have free healthcare for the poor. We have food stamps and shit.
Right.
That's the sort of, like the fire department, the police department. It's all
Right.
socialism. Yeah.
Oh, that's. Well,
But
guess
I
it is
mean-
true.
Yeah. Well, we
But
pay
it's
into the
tax.
fire department.
But-
Yeah.
so
Yeah. But it's
who has
Republic.
who in the world has a socialist?
Venezuela,
Okay.
Cuba.
Oh.
The government controls the economics.
That's very extreme.
The communism
It's
in
kinda
China is practiced more like socialism
So
for the
basically,
people, but it's
yeah.
still communism because of the right to ownership and
right.
um,
Nothing's privatized, basically.
yeah, there's no such thing
No.
as private business.
Yeah, that scares me.
But it is the same thing if you think about it in practice. Like you're open to open your shop, right?
Right.
But you'd have to ask the government, and then they'll give you a title, and then
Right.
everything is owned by them. But you're producing money, and like you create your own business like that.
Right.
Like you could own your own restaurant in China,
Right.
but it's not yours, you know. And you could make it produce money, but it's not yours. So you can't just like open a million restaurants
Right. Yeah.
because I guess the profit is for the nation.
It's for the nation. Right?
Damn.
Yeah. See, I don't know how I feel about that. I mean,
And then the only way you could like make the big bucks is by have your business produce a lot of money. So I guess I'm not sure how they get paid, because I know
yeah.
it's communism and socialism, but yeah, everything is owned by the government.
And what was like the point of that? Was that supposed to cultivate some sort of community within the people? But it just didn't really work out.
It's working for them. Yeah, it's working for them.
Do you think the people are happy though? Do you think that they would?
Yes and no, because it's also like massively oppressive, because the only way you could reach the top is to climb the social ladder. And if you come from a rural place in China, you don't even have that opportunity.
Right.
And then it's, I guess, if you don't want to climb a social ladder, then you're going to be poor.
Yeah.
I'm not a social, but a corporate ladder.
Right.
If you don't want to climb a corporate ladder, you're going to be poor.
Right.
And the only way to climb the social ladder is to climb the corporate ladder.
Yeah, see, I think with that being said, I'd rather have the illusion of, because they're for sure not, the illusion of freedom, I guess, and I will elaborate more on that. I guess it's just, they know for a fact, it's more clear to them, you know, like how you just stated right now. They have to follow a corporate ladder. They have to climb up a social ladder in order for them to reach any type of success, right? Any sort of success. And then for capitalism, I mean, you just have your business, and whether it thrives or not, you know, like, of course, we still have to pay taxes, and we still have to, like, there's all these, you know, loops.
But that's what everybody wants.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's offered here, and that's what works here.
Right. I just don't understand why people would complain about that, I guess.
Well,
why people are extreme and would want socialism here.
Well,
and I guess because maybe, yeah.
I mean, to quick
I'm
say,
getting
yeah.
out of the loop here,
I know.
but
I know. What to, yeah.
What?
No, what is just, I mean, people just kind of want a handout. In a way.
Jealousy and envy, that's true.
what do you think about universal income, though?
I don't think so.
Isn't that socialism?
Yeah.
It is, right?
Yeah, no, like
I think
we saw that during COVID.
That's only feasible once there's no more working and there's no more.
But we kind of saw that.
But then.
Yeah, like, but universal high income.
Our bots would be creating stuff, right? But then that would only last until we run out of resources, and then there'd just be war.
No, because that's how you make you make a generation of people not wanting to work. Like how I was gonna say,
It might
like,
take millennia, though. Like if there's good trade.
Yeah. Well, at some
good
point.
Trade like internationally, it might take a millennia for there to be like lack of resource. I mean, that's.
Well, I guess
maybe like some like far in the future, like
right.
Like more,
dystopia that we are hopefully not a part of. No, I guess like universal high income, like Daniel said.
It's only feasible once all the work is done by
bots.
Bots, yeah.
By everything,
and
everything is automated.
And that would lead to what?
There's no need for working jobs.
Yeah, if there's no working jobs, then that would lead to more poverty, because then the working class is not working.
Well, I'm just saying that capitalism wouldn't work with that system anymore, right? Like we'd have to
work socially either.
We would have to evolve to socialism.
They would have to be
eventually.
Because it wouldn't just even work, because like you have to have a balance. Like
there needs to be a disparity.
Like, yeah. Like if you, it's like
economic
like that show Altered Carbon. You'll have no middle class. You'll have a low class, and you have the elite, because all the elites are saving money by not even having a working class. If everything's automated,
I think there'll be mass protesting as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Imagine all the rich people would just be like, "What?" You know, like and then also, it wouldn't be possible, like the industry that's creating all the goods for humanity would have to profit somehow, right?
Yeah.
So there might automatically be a disparity. There would just be, I guess, an elevated middle class, and then the elites.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they have. Yeah.
There wouldn't be any more poverty, I guess, which is a utopia.
Wait, You're talking about that with what?
with bots and stuff, and like labor being obsolete, and like humans just getting universal income and just painting all day and shit, or doing their hobbies, you know.
But see that's
Well, yeah. Oh, but you're saying that's like a dream that
Now
would
that would
just
be
keep
a
floating.
that would be a utopia, like where it's
Right.
socialism
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But also,
Ideally, yeah.
it wouldn't work though, because I think it's unfeasible,
Right.
because
There's only so much income to go about, or what?
not just that. Like I don't think we'd even use income anymore. It would just be like go to the grocery store, pick up your food, you know, like.
Right, like if we would evolve it to socialism.
Yeah, but
Right?
yeah, but it wouldn't be
Gradually.
socialism anymore. It would kind of just be like our society is a prison.
like like you're saying we wouldn't need currency.
Yeah, we wouldn't even need currency at that point, really. The only need for currency, there wouldn't even be currency. It would just be like power, you know.
But then that's where they would ration food or ration things,
Well, then that-
right? So then that's kind of socialism, no?
Yeah, no, well, I think it would just lead. Isn't that just the government having just full control of everything?
Yeah, of course, but
Communism.
Yeah,
I guess you're right.
That's
'cause
the-
there is
That's what I was saying.
there is
Like I thought
there
that
is-
was.
Okay.
there is international trade, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I was just thinking like one world government for some reason. I don't know why. You know?
Well, that's, I guess that's more, it's more relevant.
No,
to, the
I don't
times.
think. I don't think socialism. No. It can't. There has to be.
Well,
Like-
at the rate that technology is advancing now, I mean, who knows? I just wonder how the world is going to be when we're old. Anyway, we've
I think
kind
the
of
same.
diverted away from the topic here. Let's
No. Well.
bring it back.
Well.
I think there would be war, nonetheless.
Yeah.
Any place, any time.
For sure. I mean, I feel like there's already war
What do you-
now.
what do you
with just
think-
People being so divided.
Do you think? Do you think we're due for a war?
What do you mean?
Like, cause I was telling Brenda, like, there's always been a period of war, like throughout humanity, whether it's a small or big. Like I know there was the First World War, the Second World War. Like given the tensions that are happening, maybe not now, maybe not soon, but do you think we're due for a major war?
Yeah, it's already happening.
I think a class war
just
is
talked about
happening.
No, like just an actual war.
Like World War?
Yeah, like
Oh.
Yeah,
it's like,
it's already happening.
but I'm saying just like, well, I don't
Okay, well,
Do you
expand
think?
on
Do you
that.
think? What do you mean by do? Like, do you think?
like it's like hey, like we're
War.
getting like we're drafting 18-year-olds to go to war.
Oh no, it's not that bad yet.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
It's a proxy war.
No, but I besides the proxy, I'm saying actual war.
There's an economic war too.
Like, but I'm saying actual war.
You mean conflicts?
Yeah, like
with
it's like
conflict and battle.
it's like, hey, there's trouble in Europe.
and
Hey,
we
there's-
militarized our entire economy. Is
Yeah,
that what you're
like
trying to say?
like that's what I'm trying to get at. Like an actual physical war, where it's like, hey,
Yeah, it is already happening. And
Like-
in fact, when I go on Indeed,
uh-huh.
I've been applying for jobs. The only thing that shows up for me is military fabrication companies. So companies that make tanks, companies that make submarines, companies that make fighter jets, airplanes. They're all here in Oxnard. I was like, damn, we have this many military industrial complexes here.
Well, there's a base right here.
Yeah.
And I guess they're
But-
looking for workers.
I've seen a lot of like Army, Navy commercials lately too.
Oh well, that's always
Was there
been
any
there.
at the Super Bowl?
I don't know. I'm not sure, but they're always.
No, there's always been, but I've seen them more. Like for a while, there wasn't many. Like,
Well, that's what I'm saying. Do you think we're heading to a major war?
I don't know about a major war. I think a class war here in the United States for sure.
I know, but okay,
But
disregard
World
the whole
War?
class.
Okay.
I'm just saying a world war.
Yeah, it's already happening. It's being mobilized with Syria,
You think like propaganda?
Israel, Lebanon. So Syria is the aggressor with Lebanon right now.
Okay.
With Syria, with Palestine.
Mm-hmm.
We've been at war with Yemen for quite a while. We moved out of the war with Afghanistan. We demolished Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
We have tensions with China for Taiwan, and they have tensions against Japan as well. Just invading the sea, I think, is just an Axis power move. Warnings, of course.
China with Japan?
Factions, not Axis, but factions. China with Japan, Taiwan, and then there's already, I guess, partnerships between United States, Japan, Germany, Taiwan, South Korea. Anyone who supports us with NATO, which is a lot of fucking countries.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, what do you think?
I think
North Korea, Russia, and China. But that includes all of the controlled countries of Russia, like Dagestan, Siberia. You know, all the Slavic countries that are under the influence and control of
Russia.
Russia. And they're allied to Russia, of course.
This is gonna sound crazy, but I think probably within like the next 30 years we'll probably head to like another world war.
30 years?
30 years?
You don't think in 5 years, 2030?
I'm saying within 30. If it could happen in 5, it could happen in 5. But I'm just.
I think it's a silent world war already.
I think, but I'm saying as like a major war. Like I know you're saying silent war, you're saying economic war. Like I'm saying is like, hey, half my family's going to war. Half my family's getting deployed.
Full blown.
Like my family's getting deployed. Like I got.
Full blown economic mobilization.
Yeah, like that. Like I'm talking World War II style, like type of war. Like World War One, where there's tensions, and I think that's it goes with what you're saying is like that's part of us as being humans. It's like we are in a soft generation, and I think part of it, like what we need is like, and I've heard this and I'm gonna say it, is like it almost feels like we need a war because of the softness of this generation. It's like we need men to harden up, and it almost feels like it's getting there. And I don't know, that's just my take. Where
I think it's the opposite. I think men
no, like we got
Men are what?
being feminized right now.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, I just thought about
That's
Alex Jones saying they're doing it to the frogs. The frogs are gay.
well, and
What's it
that's
called? You're referring to
That was so funny. Fluoride in the water.
not
Yeah.
fluoride.
Or what was it?
the tampon or some
No,
shit like that. Estrogen. in the water.
Microplastics.
Plastics?
I
No.
forgot what it's called. It starts with an A though.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But that's my point. Like that's why it's like we're so soft. Like I almost feel like if we were to go to war with Russia, like we get our asses handed because we have we're fighting the wrong war within ourselves here. Like we're fighting for who can enter the fucking bathroom here. Where in Russia it's like they're trained in the snow, like they're doing manly shit. You know? And that's just one example, but I'm not trying to get off track. I'm just saying, like,
it kind of has a lot to do with I guess just evolving cultures and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it always happens throughout history, and there's always a war, and then someone always losing.
yeah, and then it's the result of tensions being released, you know, and like that's why I see there's tensions growing here for economic reasons, like China wants Taiwan, like Russia wants Ukraine back. Russia's trying to regain the Soviet Union, like there's powers that are trying to go back.
Yeah,
And
talking about going back to that thing of masculinity and how I guess masculinity is being targeted in the United States, but that's a conspiracy that people think that masculinity is being targeted.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I think part of a social function,
Mhm.
that gay shit like just shouldn't be part of a social function. You know, like that's personal. Like why do you fucking care? Like you know.
What?
Like
Like why is like I guess the social structures being changed for gay people?
I don't know. I feel like if you're gay, that doesn't have anything to do with your masculinity.
yeah,
Right? It doesn't.
no.
Like freaking the 300 guys were gay as fuck.
You mean the Spartans?
The Spartans, yeah.
Actually, it does. You know,
Sorry,
what's
I
that
have
thing called?
brain rot.
Prostate cancer.
Wait,
So,
what? Say that again?
Prostate cancer.
What about it?
So when you're hyper masculine, it's like your body just rejects its own anus, and like you get mutations in your ass, and you get tumors, and you get prostate cancer. So it's like a biological thing too.
I don't know. I don't want to get into the butt stuff, but it's
I don't even know. I don't know that. So.
it's just a weird.
When you have high testosterone, you bald, and like you get prostate cancer. So
Wait, but what was your point about saying about like?
it is it does have to do with your masculinity. So when you're more feminine, you don't get prostate cancer.
Okay, but what being
And-
gay gives
and-
you prostate cancer, or what's your point?
You know, not being gay gives you prostate cancer when you're high testosterone.
When you're high testosterone,
Yeah,
so then being high testosterone is not good for men.
yeah. You always need a balance, of course.
Right.
But
yeah.
now going back to like the social structures, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it shouldn't be a change in the social structure, right? There should just be like, I guess that's a personal thing between like humans, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They shouldn't be changing the social structure of an entire nation just to accept gay people.
Oh yeah, you mean like the whole trans stuff?
And then that might also be in a conspiracy, a attack like within a nation. Like if you introduce certain things to culture, you could hijack that culture.
Right,
you know?
like mass propaganda, basically.
Mass propaganda, of course, and then that's another like silent war, where like we created GMOs and we're like, oh, you want to buy our food, you know, and they considered it biological warfare out there in the Eastern Europe, and actually all of Europe at this point now too, and culture, and then influencing politics, influencing votes, infiltrating like to
Yeah, I
nth
feel
degree, Hollywood, all that shit.
I do feel like the government, or not the government, but like the culture here has made men soft, right? Because it's in your food. That
But
changes
Water?
your chemistry,
honestly, the
water,
change isn't
culturally.
even that great. Like gay people are still a minority in all of the United States. is just like a great topic of discussion now, like throughout all of the United States, because it's changed like the entire social function of the United States.
Wait, what has? I'm confused. Wait, why did you bring gay people in though?
The feminizing of men.
Oh, the feminizing of men.
Of course, yeah.
We have to say that. You can't be just.
Well, that was
gay
like
people.
that was the first thing we started.
Because there's masculine gay men that could go to war, and they're not necessarily soft just because they're gay.
I mean, that's true. Yeah, but
Yeah, well,
that's a rare.
that's-
it's a
Yeah,
rare
it's
thing.
just their preference of sexuality, but
Yeah.
it doesn't
Well,
diminish their masculinity.
that's actually true. There's I guess masculine gays who like they're attracted to like men.
Yeah.
Like, and like have sex with men.
Yeah, and they're still masculine.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think your sexuality has anything to do with your masculinity.
But
I mean, there is
who's
definitely
who's more likely to go to war and like enlist in the military.
probably men with families.
Exactly.
It's like the same with like who is a company more likely to hire? A man with a family, men that has a responsibility, you know,
It has, yeah.
you know, because they're going to stick it out. They're they're gonna try to stay, have a job, hold their job, you know. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting though. How just the elements of masculinity and even
It's-
femininity,
it's
because
necessary for
there is
the-
a lot of masculine women.
It's necessary for the atomic family.
Yeah.
Well, on the topic of war, if
It's necessary for nature, for our existence as well.
yeah, but do you think now I want to kind of flip it and
Yeah.
do you think if the roles were reversed,
Masculinity is
where
necessary.
you know it was always the men, the patriarchy that led, that went to go look for new land? Do you think it would have been the same if it was the women leading?
No.
Oh, the women are the creators of nations.
No, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, if
And
the roles were,
men are the protectors.
I know, but if you were just flipped,
So it's not a flip. It's just the natural order of things, I believe. I don't know.
But that didn't happen.
Also,
That didn't manifest
like,
for a long time, right? Because I've heard of stories where there was nations where women ruled, right?
yeah, all over history, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they ruled well, but then
who?
it's
how did they cease to exist? How did that dominance? Because after a while, women were just an accessory, right? They were just a breeding object.
that's not true. They're the creators, I guess, but they're also, like, I guess, the head of the family unit.
Right,
they're
but
the leaders
what
of
was-
the atomic family
But
are
but
the
did men
protectors and
really
providers.
consider?
of that.
Did men really weigh in?
Taking
Like,
the
I'm
women's weight, like the women's opinion?
Like the women's opinion or the women's perspective. Like, I'm sure there was some great men that did, and I'm sure, and I call them great because I think that,
Of course, I mean,
you know,
there's marriage, you know, and then there's communion with each other, and then, of course, you'll talk to your husband, and then your husband will go vote.
right. But then after a while, that was kind of diminished, right, throughout society, like throughout wars, like just now, like how the first ladies. I mean, they're kind of just. They're just kind of like a. I don't know what's like a best way to describe them, like. They're
An
almost
image.
just like an accessory, like an
An
image,
image.
like a, you know, to the president, to
you
the.
think so?
Well, yeah, I'm sure they have their duties of like, you know, like their social issues. They can the social projects they work on, but I think when it comes to war, the feminine wasn't taken into consideration for. Like executive decisions, like the woman wasn't allowed to influence the man or to help guide the man because
I don't think so. Well, possibly, actually, there was like the Salem witch trials.
Yes, I'm so interested in that because I feel like the history books really just placed a big gap on all of that.
I know that.
I remember being so curious when I read about that.
I know Carl Jung talked about the anima and how it's the nurturing spirit of like the active anima within like woman and man, and I guess they get like sexual liberation from each other, of course, and then once like women became like actively doing that out here in the new world, that's when the Salem witch trials began, because there were like mystical women that would, I guess, influence men in such ways, as you said, and then they just started hunting like any like weird eccentric women.
Well, that lines up. Go ahead.
I don't think men took women's advice when it came to making decisions like that.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I don't think so at all. That's just my take.
But
I don't know,
what, you don't think that
I
women
think-
serve
No,
a purpose on
I
that,
think
or-
they served. I think they served.
Communion.
They had their purpose, but I don't.
Has its own issues, I think.
They did not play role of an advisor to a ruler.
No, they didn't. But because they weren't, like, I think that women could, like,
Because
women women are intuitive by nature, right? Like back then, more than ever, they were more in tune with things. So like, it was kind of like how men would, or going back to, let me use the Aztecs for an example. They had somebody like a shaman. That's what I'm referring to. Women have that instinct, that connection to the spirit. They can maybe
Creative
foresee or advise or use their intuition to be like, hey, well, maybe the strategy might not be, I don't know, just given cues, And kind of like that. Like, that could have been their role.
But do
like,
you think
obviously
they listen?
can't fight.
Do you think?
No, and that's what I that's what I said. I don't believe that
I don't know.
men
I think every
used
young boy
women to their full potential.
loves their mother.
They just objectified them.
I think every young boy loves their mother, or if they don't and they had a rough childhood, they still want to love their mother, right? And like they love women as well, so I think of course there was influence within the communion.
And you're saying like from
No, because in my opinion, I think what happened is that as a young boy you love your mother, but then as you grow up, you see your mother in her place in the world. You see how she is treated by the men in her life. She's objectified. She's just there to kind of have kids, nurture the kids, and and that's her role.
Like, you mean like cows? Like they're treated
Yeah,
like cows?
that's how they were treated. And I mean, I'm sure there's like
I think
some
that's
exceptions,
true.
but as a
That's
generality, that's how it was.
No.
And as a young boy, you see that. You see her place in the world. You see your place in the world. And you realize, oh, that's what women are for, And then I'm going to impregnate this woman and she's going to have my child and it's going to keep going. I don't think that men ever considered women, ever saw women as the mystical creatures that they are. They never had
That's true.
that value for them.
And,
They just
and then once it was happening, they were hunted for it, I believe, as well.
yeah.
No, and it's like, and also, like if you take the example of like a young,
Depends on cultures and religions.
like as a young
Yeah,
boy,
that's true.
like let's say you're like a young boy, like you are the heir to this kingdom that you're gonna inherit it. Like the little boy sees his mom for what she is. She's a mom, and and he grows up, and as he's growing up, he's learning the lessons from not only his dad, but advisors, and this and that. And then, so once he actually takes the throne, he's gonna take the word of generals, advisors, philosophers, men that are in the table,
Yeah.
generals that had gone on to war, and give them strategic advice, It's like, we
They
should
learn
do
from
this.
They learn from the
that,
world and experience.
This and that. Yeah.
And
And
instead of-
so later on, you know, the mom is just the mom now. And then sooner or later, he's gonna marry someone. He's not gonna take that to the wife. Maybe he is. Maybe he isn't. Maybe he's gonna hear her out. But at the end of the day, when you got an empire to run, like you're not gonna solely take her word. You're gonna take the word of people that have been there and done it, and that would
Yeah,
be
but
wise.
What is the empire though? That's something that I guess
It's
men
just
don't
the-
think about.
Well, it's just the what the people you're ruling. Like if you're there, if you rule this empire is like you gotta know how to run it, and people expect you to know how to run it, you know. And if that calls for you to expand your empire and take over land, is like you're gonna take advice from these people.
Yeah, but I mean, it's true. But I mean, if there's someone who has that expertise, like Joan of the Arc, you know,
Yeah.
then it's something reasonable to listen to, of course.
I think women just never got the opportunity.
That's true, and it's due
Yeah,
to child
yeah.
rearing.
And then I think also like that has kind of followed men to this day, where I think men inherently like
We all have
seek
our-
that respect from other men.
There's also a biological responsibility, and men, I guess, don't give birth.
Right. But that's not the only role a woman has, you know, like the man just decided that was the only one of the only roles, I guess.
Well,
but
that's-
I'm sure that like there's men that saw, like that's when you fall in love with a woman, that's kind of what you see, you know. You don't only you stop seeing her just as something to have or something that is an accessory to you. She's a human, she's a person, and there's like depth into that, you know.
Of course.
Well,
But I just don't think that women were ever given the opportunity to be perceived as such. And once people, or you know, once women started to express these mystical, intuitive powers they had, they got shut down and they got demonized as witches.
Yeah,
Right?
that's true. Not all the time, though. I mean, there's a communion, you know. And
Well, I'm just speaking generally, like throughout history, like
yeah,
well,
Yeah,
that's
as a
why.
time-
that was
Yeah.
a happening.
Well, that's why. Like I was asking you, do you think if the roles were reversed, like, do you think it? How do you think it would have been if it would have been women that took the role of leading and not the men? Like, how do you see that playing out?
I mean, I think it could have worked out. I mean, I can only be hopeful. I think that women tend to be less aggressive by nature. So I don't know how, maybe it would have been more peaceful, but I think that there wouldn't be an ambition of dominance like there was with men.
Do you
Perhaps.
Think, do you think would be where we are right now?
Absolutely not. I don't know how we would be, but I think it would be drastically different for sure. Yeah. What do you guys think?
I was kind of just listening. I was spacing out too.
Okay. Yeah, well,
I don't know how far that would have gone with women, because
I think men would have taken over that shit. They would have just
I
been
think-
like, you know what?
yeah,
I don't know. I
Because
think
men are just
I
aggressive.
think it has to do with biological responsibility on the most part, because all right, let's say you form a communion, and throughout that communion, your partner is impregnated. It is the man's biological responsibility to do the things that he does, right? And it's also the woman's responsibility to do the things that she does. But I guess they feel limited. Like women, like I said, they feel limited and don't have their total freedom anymore. It's the same thing with men, but that's just existence for men.
Right.
And for women, it extends their existence to like their children.
They're literally, yeah.
And I think if women want to, I guess, fully live in their existence and not rear children, that's something that they have to decide for themselves and live accordingly to.
Well,
And-
nowadays, yeah. After
and-
birth control, that was pretty revolutionary.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Well, not in a positive way. I don't know.
Sex and
Yeah.
intercourse and love.
Right. It was just
Yeah.
more of a freedom for women.
And
And men too, of course, but more for women because women have to bear the actual pregnancy,
why
and the
religion-
physical manifestation of that. You know,
Religion had like a part to do with it too, because like no sex before marriage, like that was important back in the day when there was no contraceptives,
but people would still have sex without, right? Like that was still, and like there was still
wasn't traditional.
also,
It wasn't
well, yeah, it
traditional.
wasn't traditional.
well, even less now.
I guess that still applies
And,
to
and
the
now it's because technology, contraceptives. Like the Egyptians were literally like rubbing gator shit on their vaginas so that they could
That's
have
crazy.
sex with that contraceptive, Like they put clay as well, like different
Oh
things.
yeah,
That's crazy.
that's insane.
Oh, man, I don't know. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
Man,
I mean, men dominated everything, even women.
What I mean is like the reason why I say it is like men, like if a, like I think that's why I'm not saying the men was chosen, but I think men just naturally took that role of leading, which is one of the big things. Like men are just natural leaders. Men are just go-getters, and you send 10 women to go discover a new island, and they find a new group of people. Those 10 women can't impregnate the whole island, but if you send 10 men,
Yeah.
they can impregnate that whole island.
That goes
No,
to
yeah.
No, but I'm saying, but that's. I'm just saying, like that's kind of like
That's the order of
biological-
nature.
that's the order of nature,
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's like
It's like
well, women are
I
not
think
supposed
spiritually,
to take the role of men. Yeah.
spiritually
That's
and
what I'm saying.
biologically, responsibly,
uh,
with those things in mind, we could only, in spirit, be monogamous, right?
mhm.
And women could only be biologically monogamous.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, nowadays it's not entirely true. But biologically speaking,
Mhm.
and men biologically could be, I guess, polyamorous, but not polygamous.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on economy as well. Like, there's harems in the Middle East today, but it has to do with just how much money you got, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. That's crazy.
Yeah, man. I don't know, Dan.
Yeah, but spiritually, and spiritually, you can only be monogamous. I mean, that's kind of veering off of the topic, but it is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I mean, well, the whole sex thing, though, it does play a role in, I guess, war also, because it's like you are trying to fight. No? For
No,
men?
yeah, for sure. I think sex has
You know,
a
one-
big
the
is a big
family-
element of
the
war.
family is the empire.
Yeah, but also
I
like
mean, women create empires, like they're the creators, and men are the protectors and
Mhm.
providers.
Well, that's why.
Because men are the only ones that could provide the family.
yeah.
Well, that's what the whole concept of like the man builds the house, the woman builds the home.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. Make or doesn't make she.
But it has to do more with Darwinism than culture. Like, I think culture is due to our biological like, condition of existence.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, yeah, I heard this girl once saying, like, she had kind of, I guess she had an epiphany, and she was saying, it was a video I saw on TikTok, most likely, sorry. And she was saying that, she was like, you guys, like, we weren't born to, like, just have babies, like men were. Because men can literally still, like, a man can be 60, 70 years old and still get a woman pregnant. But a woman has a clock, right?
That's true. Yeah.
There's a certain time limit she has. Like, after a certain time, she's no longer fertile.
Yeah.
And I'm like, huh, that's interesting. Yeah, that's fucking true. We were designed like that.
What do you
I mean,
think?
there's erectile dysfunction that just has to do with lifestyle, really.
Yeah, I think that's probably most likely like a new disease or a new like a new
Yeah.
breakdown for men.
Well, I
that
don't think it's new necessarily.
Well, it has to do with
Of course.
environmental factors, right? That contribute to that.
No, it's like just like heart health and then not exercising.
And yeah, environmental,
Yeah.
diet, lifestyle.
Yeah, lifestyle. Yeah.
It's like heart disease.
Yeah, I mean that must have been rare back then, right? Unless you were just born with issues.
Think so? Nah.
Perhaps, I don't know. Who knows, man?
I think a lot of diseases are man-made.
I think when you fight for your home and your family, that has to tie in with, I guess, just the bearing of existence, really. And then we all have our individual wars
Oh yeah.
with the bearing of our own existence and the communion with existence as well.
Yep. Martin, have you ever had an existential crisis? I feel like you're very
No.
tempered, balanced.
No.
You haven't?
No.
I have.
I definitely have. I've had a
Many.
few.
Shit. I learned about Camus by staring at a wall. And then I was like, huh, he's right. I thought about that too. You know?
About who?
I just found homies. When I started reading philosophy, I was like, huh, he's on the same wave.
Yeah, dude.
The myth of Sisyphus and shit.
I don't know. That shit didn't happen to me till I
I
started
did-
smoking weed.
I literally had existential depression.
Oh yeah, me too.
Not depression because I wanted to kill myself. It was like, damn, existence. What the fuck?
Yeah, me too. I remember feeling like, damn, this is it. Like, all I could think about was my limitations, but that was just my own. Like, I don't know. I think everything was just, I was processing everything because everything was soaking in, you know? I think I still had my childlike.
For me, it was just the fact that we could describe reality, but we can't say what it is. You know, we can't say what existence is and what reality is.
Well, my first existential crisis was more about, like, concerning, like, the Matrix and the systems. And,
Intelligence and culture.
Yeah, and how, like, yeah, and poverty and, like, social economics and all that, you know? And I was like, oh, fuck. This is a fucked up world. And then I started thinking about history, and I'm like, oh, man. Slavery, that's horrible, like, you know?
That
Just
happened.
our existence has been very yikes. And so, yeah, I started thinking about all that, and I think I got existential depression from it. But then, you know, but I think it was just my tender
Economical.
mind. It was my tender mind, like, processing through all of that, because I
The
think
government
everything that
changes.
I had ever believed because I was very like cookie cutter, like I believed everything on the textbooks, you know, and when I realized everything, I was like, oh fuck, like
I feel like
everything
the
got dismantled.
I feel like the textbooks told me everything. I don't know.
Well, when you looked at them again, maybe.
No, I mean from the beginning, like I had a good science teacher.
No,
All my science teachers were
I
pretty
didn't.
excellent.
I don't remember any of them. It's been too long. I'm old.
Mr. Murphy, Daw.
Doll.
I mean, but you can only describe things, you know. You can't tell you what it is. That's why I'm interested in like quantum biology and consciousness, because everything else is really just irrelevant. Like, who cares about the galaxy over there? You know, the argument of like, is the Earth flat? That's irrelevant to existence. You know,
That is.
that's only descriptions. It's not.
Yeah, it's like just layers of things
It's
that
not the
are.
Pandora's box.
Yeah.
That is a Pandora. Actually,
The
it is
flat
a Pandora's
Earth theory
box,
is
but it's not
retarded,
what's
though.
inside.
Sometimes I get caught thinking about thinking of all this stuff, like the whole Matrix, like all that stuff, and then another part of me is like, it's like, should I really dig deep into it? Like, because it falls under the category of like, why are we here? How are we here? And where does this take us? You know? So like, I'm always kind of in between, like here and here. And I'm like, damn, I almost feel like I shouldn't think too much and just kind of enjoy it.
I am there too, because I think awe is important to me.
I think seeking
I
is
want
a
to
trauma
remain
free.
to me, like, I just want to be in awe with life. Like, I want to have that sense of, like, I want to maintain that sense of mystique with me and how I perceive the world. Like, I wouldn't want to know everything, because I think that would...
Depressed.
Yeah, that would make me, like, I don't know.
It's impossible to know everything.
No, it is.
No, but
Thank God.
But I think if you could,
Yeah.
would you want to know?
Yeah,
I
guess
mean,
that's
I would like to know the things I value and things that are relevant.
Yeah.
And I think it's the theory of relativism.
Okay, expand on that.
So, I mean, even throughout cultures, like, our moral constitutes are relative to our culture, right? And it has to do with, as well, your values you have as an individual.
Right.
So if you value different things, like I don't care if the earth is flat or round, but I have my own ideas, you know? But I think it's, even if I jot down what I think about it, it's a irrelevant discussion, because it's not the truth of things, it's just a description of things.
Yeah.
And that's what science is. In science, you could only observe and describe. You can't really jot down. Like, we still don't know what gravity is. We could tell you all the effects and phenomena and everything, but we don't know what it is. And it's also like the illusions we build for ourselves throughout our own observations of things. And then we find out that our observations are illusions in themselves, because we're just a species that have instruments of observation, and those instruments of observation are due to our evolution. So we only describe our evolutionary instruments.
Right.
And it's not reality, it's just the instruments of measurement.
Right.
And we're only
science.
describing the instruments of measurement all the time.
Only the thing that we can measure and prove. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I like to have a sense of mystique, like how you just said right now. Like, we can tell you a lot of the details and observations of gravity, but we can't tell you where it comes from, right? Like, that mystique.
We could
like
describe
that,
it as a phenomenon, but it
right.
boiled down to what is existence all the time.
Right.
And we find that, like, that's why I'm interested in consciousness, and quantum biology, because that's where the real answers lie.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too.
So where did we come from?
Oh my god, that's not.
No, I know. Yeah, no, it's
Coffee get cold.
damn. I need some more coffee. No, it's yeah, it's a lot. Damn.
Sorry, umbrella.
I'm gonna pause it.
That's all right. We're heating up our tea.
We're hitting up.
I'm putting up tea in the microwave. I'm disgusting and vile.
You're reheating
Yeah,
it.
you gotta live by your maxims and your truth, friend. What are you doing? Truth to power.
My truth right now is that I'm too lazy to boil.
There we go.
I'm not ashamed of that. That's-
Oh, yeah.
Speak beautiful words to it. You'll be better.
Yeah. Oh, that's disgusting.
You'll crystallize the irritated water, and you'll be less irritated yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just.
No. That's what's up.
All right. So where are we at?
We discussed
Humanity.
will, biology, strive, some dimensions of aggression, some identity, philosophy and religion a little bit, pride,
Religion.
time, and we saw our, I think, topics that haven't been mentioned.
Okay. Do you want to lead those in? So we get a little bit of the scope of what you think.
Aggression.
Dimensions of aggression, they kind of just tie into the, I guess, just the need for aggression, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it also ties into, I guess, the biological forms of it, and identity ties into it as well. Ethics, morals, identity, resolve, and then intelligence has a lot to do with it as well. I think biology ties in the most, because there's words and then there's power, and then the less intelligent person only knows one form of power, and that's aggression and physicality,
Yeah. Physical violence.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. The Vikings are pretty fucking aggressive.
Have you seen their land? There's like only moss and rocks. So they had no choice but to go find grain,
Yeah, well, that's why they're.
And then identity led them there, because they didn't like the new king of Norway or something,
Scotland, no? No.
That was afterwards, after the formation of I guess the Nordic tradition and the Viking occupation, the pirate occupation, really.
Mm-hmm. Weren't they? I may be wrong, but weren't they? Wasn't a form of religion tried? They were trying to get them to change to Christianity or some sort of.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Religion, yeah.
To religion, right?
Religion, identity. Well, I don't know. I know that the British. Well, it depends on what instance you're speaking of.
No, because they fought back against that, right?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
No. Oh, okay.
I'm not very well versed with the Vikings. The only references I have is that show we watched on Netflix.
Viking?
Yeah.
No, but
Literally.
no, but that's
I only know culture and the conditions, and I know that there was a king in Norway that gained power, and a lot of people moved out because they had different political identity and beliefs and values, and they left to an uninhabitable island in the country, and they lived off of livestock, and then sometimes there's sickness and stuff, so they had to go pirate and pillage because their families were gonna die, and they go all over the north.
That's crazy. That's a crazy lifestyle right there.
But would you describe them as more physically violent than,
Any other
let's
person?
say, yeah?
I think throughout generations and the culture was built, and Darwinism plays a role because it's just, like, for instance, myself, a couple of years ago, I didn't have shins of steel, and then I'll pass on those genetics if I have children, and then I'll pass on the same culture of who I am, and it's just the conditions of their existence that drives them to be of a certain way.
Yeah.
And then the need for such things arises just throughout time.
Right.
Entropy. The fourth dimension is really just entropy. Everything will be a snapshot without it, and there's chaos and order. And the order is birth out of our intelligence.
Okay.
Question.
That's pride, time,
Pride?
resolve.
Yeah.
Time. Question. Okay, so hypothetical. And so let's say Mars becomes inhabitable and all the nations had access to being able to go to Mars. Do you think the nations would fight to acquire
The planet?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's a form of
I think certain things like that would have to be sanctioned.
no, but
World.
I'm just saying, like, I know it's like a separate world, but I'm just saying the mentality of like a conqueror's mentality. Like, do you think is like
I think
it's like, oh shit, that land's up for grabs?
I think Elon Musk is quite the pioneer, and he is privatized, but he's also incentivized by U.S. government and taxes and such.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's just capitalism.
No, I'm saying, but do you think they would fight for land? Do you think that's like an example? That's what I'm saying. Do you think that's an example of of it leading to some sort of war over new territory, new land?
I think, yeah, of course, but I think it would be more like a race,
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's say 10 nations land. It's like, do you think they would go to war, or do you think there'd be discussions and be like, hey, I'll take this percentage of the world, you take that percentage, this percentage, or do you think they'd be like, hey, you know what, I got here first, but this and that?
Yeah, I think it would be like that, where it's just a race, unless there is certain loss that happened before anything, and it's already, I guess, in motion, where it's capitalism leading the path.
So you're saying the U.S.?
Yeah, because there's like NATO agreements, and there's the UN.
Yeah, I mean, if you break those pacts, it's kind of like
you're waging war against the entire world.
Yeah, and you don't really stand a chance when it's the whole world.
And those certain things haven't happened.
Yeah, that's true.
So right now it's just
So it's
driven by
pretty much-
capitalism.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like because to me, my guess is like, okay, well, it's a new world. It's out of, to me, it's like my thinking is it's in the galaxy. It's not here on Earth. So I would be like, okay, well, the laws here don't apply to the laws over there. It's like
That's true.
if I have the means to get over there first, like
I
I'm
think
just
the-
thinking
the
as a
government-
sort of mentality.
The government would have a word though, like it already does with SpaceX.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Like they have.
Yeah, so it's I guess it's a government, it's a American company, but it's privatized.
So let's say the U.S. gets there first. This is all hypothetical.
And-
I'm just saying, like it's inhabitable. The U.S. is like,
It would be a corporate
Let's
race,
go.
and then China would be its own corporation. Of course.
and exactly, and that's what I was gonna get to. So let's say China and then Russia be like, I was like, oh, you can't keep it all to yourself. We're gonna go too. But the U.S. already is like, oh, well, we got here first.
I mean, it would be the same thing.
That would create, but you would agree that would create tensions
Yeah.
because another world is gonna probably have resources that Earth doesn't have.
Yeah.
You know, it's gonna have new territories, and so that would be my thing. Is like that. I think that would create tensions and be like, okay, well, we want it. We're gonna fight you for it. Do you think that would happen?
Yeah. I said it like 5 times already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I don't think the
hypothetically,
conditions will
it could
change.
potentially happen, yeah.
I don't think the conditions will change. It'll just be as things are.
Okay.
But the determining factor was capitalism is leading the way right now.
Yeah. Well, I guess what I was trying to get with all that is like expansion.
I mean,
Of
I feel
new territory.
Capitalism and socialism, is it relevant to war? I mean, right now it is, or it was for a long time.
Is it relevant to what? To war?
To war.
Yeah. Because it is because it's
yeah.
a social function, right?
Yeah.
It's a social dynamic.
Yeah.
It's a social economical dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
USA. Damn. Well. And I think it's all about power.
You know, the world may be chaotic, but I think it's perfect.
Shoot, I hope so.
It's perfectly chaotic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not really.
No, well, that's why. Well, I mean, it's not full blown. Like, there's little wars here and there, but it hasn't scaled to the point where.
I think the microcosm is the macrocosm, and there's symmetries of life
Mhm.
all around us, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just, we're just alive. I mean, we can cause a ruckus, we can, we're just alive, we're just trying to live. It really boils down to that. In a way.
Yeah. The bearing of existence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, that's really just externally for all of us. And internally, we wage wars as well. Wars of the mind, wars of... Even externally, we wage wars of the mind as well.
Yeah.
And it ties into what I said about the shadow in humanity's search for meaning. The necessary wars that we have within ourselves for self-realization that has to tie in with just the bearing of existence itself. And
Yeah.
the contention with self and our place of existence is a necessary war.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It's necessary for you to meet yourself again and again. Continue to evolve. And follow yourself to where you are evolving.
War is necessary.
Yeah. And also, I think the war is also waged with the shadows of attention. In our search of meaning. And
Legacy.
it's really a three-body problem as well when you search internally. And those are the reflections that are necessary. It's the light-shifting keystone.
That was my fucking
That was your
stomach.
stomach. Sorry. Sidebar. Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah. I think this is a pretty good wrap to this
Okay.
question.
First week. Oh,
Why does humanity seek war? Alright.
yeah.
Thank you. This has been Born Influenced. Daniel.
Brenda?
Martin, we're signing off.
Right?